Sometimes stretches come along that are absolute game changers when it comes to spinal stenosis, and this may be it. All you're going to need is your bed and be able to lay on your side, and you're going to be able to do this stretch. We're going to go over exactly how to do it and why it works and how often you should do it. So go to your bed and let's get started. So spinal stenosis and other conditions in your spine that are related to arthritis are essentially a reduction of space around the nerves and the blood vessels in the spine, which can cause pain, numbness, tingling, burning, with simple things such as just like standing and walking. So if you're experiencing any of those things, you're going to get some relief from this stretch. I've been incorporating this stretch with my patients with spinal stenosis, and what's really, really nice is that you could do the stretch with zero energy on your end. You don't have to do any muscular activation. There's no burning involved. It's a pain-free stretch that if you can lay on your side and just relax, you're going to get benefit from the stretch. Now, there are some things that we're going to want to go over when we're doing the stretch to make sure we're doing it right and we're feeling what we should be feeling, but that's the easy stuff. If you just give this stretch a chance, you're going to have relief. And so that's what I love about this stretch. When I've been doing this, patients can get up from the table or from their bed and actually notice some change in their symptoms. And so that's been really, really neat to see. And I think it's worth sharing. So that's exactly why we're going over that today. So you can ask any of my patients, when we go over something new and we start to be targeted in our interventions or our stretching and strengthening, we really go over the why first. We want to understand why we're doing something so we can understand how it's giving us relief. And so if you're the person that likes to know the why, listen to this next minute or so. If you don't really care and you just want to do the stretch, then just skip this next part. But we're going to go over the why, we're going to go over how to do it, and we're going to go over how to incorporate it in your day to make sure you're getting the most out of it. So here's the problem we're solving. With spinal stenosis, it's a space issue. So because of the space in your back is decreasing, you're having symptoms down your leg or symptoms in your glute and hamstring and calf. And those symptoms are caused from that reduction in space. And what's really cool about this stretch is that this stretch actually improves the space in your spine in that moment and in the long term. And so what you'll see in this picture here in that dark space, and that's your lumbar spine. That's where the nerves and blood vessels live, and those are the nerves and blood vessels that give you symptoms down your leg. Well, this stretch actually improves that space, which means it's going to give you relief in the short term. But what we're all looking for is relief in the long term, and that's what they looked at in this study. And this was a cool study in that they did 3D images, a CT scan of your spine during the stretch in the moment, which actually showed an improvement in space. They did the stretch, and then they looked at that space later, and that space was maintained, which is very cool, really, really cool. So it's an eye-opener not only for my patients, but I saw it in my practice as well, and that's why I thought, man, I have to go over this. But there are some nuances. In this research article, they found a few things. One, they had the patient sustain that stretch for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I cannot believe doing that for 20 minutes. I haven't done it for 20 minutes yet with my patients, but we've done it for a few minutes and noticed changes as well. So I'm not saying don't do it for 20 minutes. What I'm saying is listen to your body. There's not many people that I've worked with that have true spinal stenosis that can maintain a stretch for 20 minutes. And so that's not the goal. The goal is to feel better now and in the long term. And so that's why I go over the nuances around the stretch. And that's why in a little bit, I'm going to go over how to do the stretch and exactly what to do after it. So they found that the patients who sustained that stretch had an improvement in space in that moment and down the road. They also found that with this stretch, they were able to have the patient actively try to increase that space as they're lying down. So if you're able to lie on your side and lay on your bed, you're going to be able to do this stretch. You're going to increase that space, but there are things that we could do during the stretch to get even more out of it. And so I'm going to go over those as well. And so they had relief in that moment, they had relief in the long term, they had those patients sustain that stretch, and what they noticed is that they had an improvement in space. And so we're solving that space issue with this stretch, and that's why I love doing it, and that's why one stretch can make a huge difference. And so I'm going to go over that right now, but as always guys, if you have any questions, put it underneath the video about this stretch because I can answer those and you can get a little bit more out of it. But before we waste any more time, get next to your bed, get ready to have some relief, grab a pillow to support your head, and we're gonna go over this stretch right now. Okay, setup is key here. So let's say you have pain down your right leg. You're going to want to lay in a way that you can get the right leg off the edge of your bed. And so in this example, I'm going to lay on my left side so I can have my right leg on top and it can be off the edge of the bed. So it's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to lay down. You're going to lay down. we're gonna use our right leg as an example here. You're gonna lay on your left side. You're gonna kind of curl up your bottom leg, and then you're going to let the right leg hang off the edge of the bed. Here. Now this is the very first step. You're gonna try to settle into this, have the pillow support your head, and you're just gonna breathe. What you should feel is a stretch on the right side of your spine. We're trying to gap, improve space on the right side of your spine because that's where our symptoms are, to cause less pain down the leg. I've seen so many patients try this stretch, they immediately have relief. They can feel that stretch here. So we're gonna lie here, we're gonna breathe into this stretch, and this is gonna be our first position. We're gonna hang out here. What I typically tell my patients is hang out here for a minute, and you're just gonna breathe into it. And that leg that's hanging off of the edge of the bed just kind of goes lower and lower. Now, your job is to completely relax here. Breathe and just relax into that stretch. And we're trying to gap this side of the spine. This sideline gapping technique is really, really good. Now, for a modification, what you can do is you could take that top arm, which in this example is my right arm, I can reach overhead and get more stretch out of it. It's going to further pull that lumbar spine and gap that technique and provide a traction to the lower back. So lay in this stretch. Do your first minute laying on your side without the arm. If you want, add your top arm to get a further stretch and just breathe into it. Now the key here is just relax, breathe into that stretch, and you should notice a diminished sensation down the leg, a diminished pain, or you may not have pain at all when you lay on your side, and that's okay. We're going to assess not only how you feel in that moment, but when you stand up and after you finish the stretch, you should be feeling better. So when I work with my patients who have spinal stenosis, first time ever doing this, I recommend hanging out here for a couple minutes. We build up to 5 minutes. So a couple minutes, you're going to have the head supported, you're going to reach. And then in the last modification here, if for some reason you want to get a little bit more out of it, you try to take that, in this example, the right foot and shove it down towards that ground. And you can get a little bit more stretch out of this side of the spine here. Now, is it okay to do both sides? Sure, absolutely. And you'll be able to tell if is it good for you, how it feels in the moment. Whew. So I feel a really good stretch in that right side of my spine here. I recommend doing this for 1 to 3 minutes for your first time, building up to 5 minutes. You can add that arm throughout the stretch intermittently. Now remember, in that research article, they did it for 20 minutes. Don't feel like you have to do that. If at any time you need a break, just curl up your legs, relax here in the moment, breathe, and try it again. Now with my patients with spinal stenosis, here's what we do, right? Typically, most of the time they have pain with walking or standing. So what I tell them is if you're doing your exercises, you're strengthening, which you all should be, you're going to do this stretch before, do some exercises. If you start to notice some leg pain, do this stretch again and see if it gives you some relief. And just incorporate this stretch throughout your day and throughout your exercise routine to allow you to be successful. And that's a key. So with every one of my patients, we do some hands-on work first. We do this stretch. We do the stretch for a few minutes to gap that side. I'll give them a little extra push and they'll push down with their leg. And then immediately after this, when they're having relief, that's when you need to take advantage of feeling good, in that window of feeling good, and strengthen a little bit. And that's what we're going to do in just a second here. I'm going to show you my favorite strengthening exercise just to do right after this stretch. So enjoy the modifications, enjoy the stretch, but also know after you do the stretch, you've got some work to do if you want to have some long-term change. We know we're improving the space in our spine. Let's take advantage of that space and support that space by strengthening the muscles. So after you do the stretch, enjoy the stretch, do it as long as you want, but get ready to strengthen, and that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so don't say I didn't trick you or anything like that, but after you do the stretch, you need to take advantage of that stretch and strengthen. And I'm going to show you my favorite strengthening exercise for those with spinal stenosis. You're feeling better, you're having a little bit more of a stretch in your back, less pain down the leg. You have to support that. And this is my favorite exercise because it helps improve standing and walking, because it works on extension of the back and hips. So you're going to get on the edge of your bed. You should be right next to it still. You're going to support with one arm. You're going to go in a nice stagger stance, a lunge position right here, and you're just going to pulse up and down. Stay forward a little bit, pulse up and down, so you're opening up this hip, you're strengthening that top leg, and pulse up and down. Just go up and down till you feel a good leg burn. That's 10, 12, 15 reps, whatever you want to do. Get those good pulse lunges in there, and that's going to allow you to have some strength in your legs. Take advantage of that back feeling good, and this is going to give you that long-term change. So you should be feeling pretty good. The space in your back is now improved. You're going to do that pulse lunge up and down. Feel that good resistance and stretch. Stretching here, resistance in the hip. It feels good. It's a burn. It's physical torture. Do your 10 to 12 reps. Switch side. Enjoy that good stretch. I'm saying enjoy it, but everybody feels the burn. It doesn't feel great, but you're gonna do that stretch. You're gonna be feeling pretty good. Take advantage of how you feel. Do this stretch and strengthening combination 3 days a week. You're gonna be feeling good, but you could do this stretch every single day, multiple times a day. Take advantage of feeling good. Hope you guys enjoyed that stretch. It should be a game changer for you, and feel free to ask any questions you may have about modifications or how it's feeling. It's important to get those answered, but I hope you guys have some relief today. I know you're going to be feeling good, but as always, guys, stay healthy, keep moving, and take care of yourself.